What is up, Hawk fans? This is the Iowa versus Oregon in men's basketball reaction video. I forgot my sunglasses in my car, so I'm not going to be doing that today. But just think I am, because we're commiserating this loss. A back and forth contest with multiple chances ends in an 80-78 loss to Oregon. The Hawkeyes got outstanding production from Josh Dix along with Peyton Sandfort, but the Ducks were just too much. Oregon set the tone early with a handful of good looks from three-point range and a couple of contested layups. Iowa's jump shots weren't falling, but they were able to draw three early fouls on the Ducks. A Sandfort jumper snapped the 0 for 4 start from the field as Iowa trailed 9-5 with 15:43 remaining. Iowa's offense snapped out of the early funk. Sandfort went 3 of 3 to go along with free throws. Dix had 6 to go along with that, and Lajai Dembele had a smooth post fadeaway. The Ducks continued to keep pace with a steady flow of mid-range jumpers to go along with finishes at the rim. Nate Biddle was an early problem with 8 points in the first 11 minutes. Oregon's athleticism and advantage in the post hurt Iowa. It didn't matter what Iowa did against Biddle, he continued to hurt them. The Ducks also were dominating the glass, which gave them numerous second-chance opportunities. 12 of the first 36 points for Oregon were off second-chance opportunities. Emotions got ramped up when February basketball rolls around and they were flying inside Carver Hawkeye. Both teams began to talk some smack after Peyton Sandfort rattled in a difficult mid-range jumper. He was whistled for a controversial technical foul. Sandfort was forced to sit for the remaining 3:17. Oregon would hold a strong 45-37 lead at the break. All 9 Ducks players that saw the floor scored while Biddle led them with 14. Josh Dix led the way with 15 in the first half. Price Sandfort hit a corner 3 to cut it down to 3-point Oregon lead before they responded with back-to-back buckets. Iowa's offense began to run with a bit better flow. Dix hit a step-back mid-range jumper. Peyton Sandfort converted a difficult Euro step layup to tie the game at 49. Oregon would outscore Iowa 10-5 over the next 2-14. TJ Bamba would have 5 of them. Every time Iowa cut it close to take a 1-point lead, Oregon would respond with multiple big shots. A Peyton Sandfort free throw cut it back down to 1 with 10:23 remaining. The Ducks were playing a smart game with Iowa's post depth in question. They would score 36 points in the paint in the first 32 minutes and had 17 second chance points off 12 offensive boards. Oftentimes when seniors see the home stretch coming, they begin to have their senior moments. That's what Sandfort had in this matchup. He was crashing the glass, getting teammates involved, and pulled up with confidence when Iowa needed a big shot. Trailing by 4, Sandfort pulled up and drained a contested 3. Iowa would get the ball back due to an Oregon foul, and Price Sandfort followed that up with a contested three-pointer of his own to give Iowa a 73-71 lead with 3:40 remaining. Iowa would force a turnover with 12 seconds left. Trailing by 2, they would go get 2 great looks inside the paint, but couldn't get either one of them to go. Dick's step-back three-pointer was blocked, and Braun's tip was just short. The homestand will continue on Saturday when they welcome in Washington. The Huskies and Iowa are fighting for a Big Ten tournament spot, and Saturday's contest will have great implications on who has the best chance to make it to Indianapolis. So there's not a ton to be said here, guys. I mean, Iowa played hard. Oregon is an NCAA tournament team at this point, or right on the cusp. This would have been a quad 1 victory. It would have been a really crucial victory for Iowa. It would have given them an opportunity to continue to be, albeit a long shot still, but still in the NCAA tournament conversation. At this point, they are well out, and they will need a miracle to get in as the Rutgers victory, and I knew that this was going to be the case, is no longer a quad 1 victory. It is a quad 2 victory. Let's see here. And actually, this was a quad 2 game. Anytime you're at home, the only way that it's going to be a quad 1 victory is if you beat like an elite basketball team. You have a much better chance of picking up quad 1 victories on the road, in my opinion, even though obviously it is hard to win on the road, than you do at home, because on the road you can beat teams that are ranked 1 through 75. So it's a much wider gap. So Iowa is currently 6-1 in quad 2 and 0-10 in quad 1 games. It's absolutely insane that they have had 10 opportunities for quad 1 victories this year. I actually really do like the schedule that they put together this year. Oh, and by the way, Washington State is no longer a quad 2 victory. It is now a quad 3 victory, as they are that it was a neutral victory, and they are now ranked 103. So now Iowa is 1-1 in quad 3 and 6-1 in quad 2. That's why I always tell you guys, this is, most of it stays the same as far as the team sheet goes, but it can change. One or a couple of teams here or there can go up or down as far as the quadrants go. As far as this game goes, I'm going to try and keep this video under 10 minutes. Iowa played hard. I knew that they were going to compete in this game because it's a home game. Iowa plays well at home. But in the end, Iowa just does not have what it takes to win games like this. And we've seen that time after time after time. That is the difference between an Oregon team who is squarely in the NCAA tournament at being top 40 in the net, and an Iowa team that is not. Let's see where Iowa ranks in the quads. 64th. So they're not terribly far behind, but that is the difference. Oregon finds ways to hit certain shots. They find ways to make certain plays. And they find a way to travel across the country and defeat a team like Iowa. I remember when all these teams were entering into the Big Ten on the West Coast, and a lot of Big Ten fans would say, oh man, it's going to be so hard for them to travel, especially in football, for them to travel cross country and play in the cold. It's like, as far as Iowa goes, damn, you look at Iowa, they traveled cross country and did far worse than what Oregon just did traveling to Iowa. So, in the end, it's all about Iowa. And to me, they struggle a lot worse than these so-called West Coast teams coming across the country. Obviously, we'll see with Washington. I think that's going to be a quad 2 opportunity. So Iowa is now 5-10 in Big Ten play. They are 14-12 overall. Washington is 95th in the quadrant rankings, or the net rankings. So Iowa, their remaining 4 games are all going to be quad 1 opportunities. So actually the game against Washington is going to be a quad 3 game because it's home and Washington is in the 90s. So, at the end of the day, guys, yet again, even though Iowa played hard and they did defend a little bit better in this game, and they have been defending a little bit better, the same ailed them today, which was rebounding, crashing the glass, and finding ways to make certain plays to win this ball game. Peyton Sandfort and Josh Dix had good games. The rest of Iowa's starting lineup played terrible. Drew Thelwell, 15 minutes, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Honestly, they should have just went with Brock Harding. I know, Drew Thelwell is a senior, but if you're not good enough to play like at least, I would say, above 80%, 90%, and give your team close to the normal minutes that you usually give them, you're probably just better off, waiting until the next game, especially in basketball, especially when you're a guard. Josh Dix played all 40 minutes. He had 19 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound. Peyton Sanford, like I said, had 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Seydou Traore got the start, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Lajai Dembele, 15 minutes, had 4 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Brock Harding, 5 points in 25 minutes. Price Sanford, 6 points in 28 minutes. Evan Bronze gave Iowa a huge lift off the bench. 23 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds. And it just goes to show, I've seen Evan Bronze since he stepped onto Iowa's campus, and I said to myself, this guy is more than athletic enough to receive consistent minutes. Okay, he might not have the best skill set in the world, but he has a Big Ten body, okay, and is supremely athletic for his size. And I've been saying this, Iowa, Fran McCaffrey needed to do a better job of finding guys minutes earlier in the year to get them ready for this point in the season. Evan Bronze, if he's able to put up 15 points against Oregon, you mean to tell me that he's not a serviceable guy that you could have found minutes at other points in the season? Iowa obviously needed rebounding. They obviously needed more size and athleticism inserted into the rotation. And I know, obviously Owen Freeman is out, but all I ever called for was for guys like Evan Bronze to play somewhere between, I'd say 8 to 15 minutes a night, more or less. And at the beginning of the year, it was really tough sledding, and we didn't see that. You compare this to Oregon's starting lineup, and every single one of their starters, except for one guy, similar to the previous game for Iowa, was in double figures. That's the difference between an NCAA tournament team and a team that is not. Maryland did the exact same thing against Iowa, where their whole starting lineup gave them buckets. You compare that to Iowa, and Iowa only has 2 guys in their starting lineup in double figures. Team stats, Iowa shot 49%. They limited Oregon to 47%. Not bad. Still could be better, but not bad. They both shot 40.9%. They both went 9 of 22. Free throws, Iowa went 13 of 17 for 76% compared to Oregon's 84%. Somehow Oregon shot better on the road at the free throw line. Total rebounds, 36 to 27 in favor of Oregon, with 14 offensive rebounds. Assists, 18 to 17 in favor of Oregon. Blocks, 6 to 3 in favor of Oregon. Steals 2 to 2, and turnovers 9 to 7. So not much more to be said. Realistically, guys, we're just at this point we're just trying to save face and not have a total disaster to the end of this year, to end this year. But there's a good chance that that's going to be the case. I think there is a good chance that Iowa finishes the regular season with a losing record, and I think there's a good chance that Iowa does not make the Big Ten tournament. If you're unaware, I think the bottom 2 teams don't make the Big Ten tournament. It's either 2 or 4. I think it's the bottom 2 in the new setup. So Iowa is just battling to not have that be the case, but all of their remaining games are quad one games. And at this point, they are just seeing what they have for next year with some of the other guys. Seydou Traore, Lajai Dembele, Chris Tajo, even though he only played 2 minutes, Price Sanford, Brock Harding. We're really just seeing what we have for next year, and saving face at this point, because this year is done. Iowa has missed too many opportunities, and man, they have had more than enough opportunities to slide into the NCAA tournament this year. So, what can I say, guys? I mean, they are not the team that they needed to be. They have not made enough progress to this point in the year. And that was the biggest thing that I complained about last video. So a lot of people in the comments, they asked me why I'm okay with Fran McCaffery having one more year. And I have already answered this a few times. I do think in some regards, Fran McCaffery has built up enough cachet to warrant one more season. But I do understand the logic that people say, well, what's going to be the difference between this year or the last couple of years and next year? What's going to change? And my answer to that is, I don't think that there's going to be drastic changes. I think Fran McCaffery kind of has a vision for what his team is, and we kind of know what that is at this point. He's more of an offensive-minded coach. But I do believe that he has made a concerted effort to recruit differently and get more athleticism, get more size and length, particularly on the wing, to warrant some optimism from the fans. But with that said, I completely understand everybody saying that they're out on Fran McCaffery, and I understand, and I was the only person that reported on this last year, that there is tremendous amount of apathy when it comes to how the fan base views Fran McCaffery and Fran McCaffery coach teams. I think there's a lot of fans that are done with Fran McCaffery, and he is kind of a victim of his own success. There's going to be a lot of fans that are restless and tireless after missing out on the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. So I understand. I don't want to turn this video into that, but that's kind of my short answer. At the end of the year, I'm going to do a final analysis on what I think is going to happen and whether I think he should come back. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In facts or feelings, because your feelings just matter. Love you, Hawk fans. Hang in there. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.